With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and this is my review, my what I think of Tomb Raider, the film adaptation of the reboot of the very beloved game franchise from 2013. I'm not going to lie, this is a movie I was very much looking forward to seeing, and I'm a huge fan of the reboot. Not so much Rise of the Tomb Raider. I felt the Crystal Dynamics tried a little bit too hard because literally, like, my OCD kicks off every corner that I turn because there's always a new collectible and it just gets in the way. But the point is, the movie adaptation was one that I was excited for, because it looked like it was going to really copy a lot about the game. It was really going to try to tell the same story, at least some variation of it. And Alicia Vikander looked really good as Lara Croft, you know, young, kind of inexperienced, naive Lara Croft. And the trailer was pretty dope. Walton Goggins is a bad guy, and I'm definitely sold on the idea of it. So I decided to go check it out the other day. And by the way, spoilers, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. The movie does deviate quite a bit from the storyline of the game, but it does so in a way that works in the context of what it's attempting to accomplish, as well as really kind of opening it up for a whole film franchise that I don't know if it's going to get, but I fucking hope so. So basically, it starts off and Lara Croft is doing her Lara thing. She doesn't want to you know, take the Croft Manor money. She doesn't want all the assets that she has based upon her father's death, and she just wants to work as quite literally like a Postmates delivery bike courier, whatever, until she gets in trouble trying to earn some money to pay for fighting lessons, which I thought was kind of interesting. She gets her ass handed to her in the first part of the movie, and you know, it's meant to showcase that she's obviously, like, you know, inexperienced and overconfident, and she's got to learn to deal with that. And of course, the movie's going to test her at every single step. So after she gets arrested, she finds out, you know, she's got to basically sign the paper acknowledging that her father is dead because he left her 7 years prior, never came home, and she has this Japanese puzzle box that he gives, and she ends up unlocking it, and he basically kind of gives her a clue in order to I think, I don't want to say follow him on his journey, obviously not, but to definitely, like, give her the closure that she needs. So when she discovers his secret tomb, so to speak, of research, she discovers the story of Hamatai, or Himatai, or Hamate, whatever it is. Himiko, that's it, Himiko. I don't know what I'm thinking. And the Japanese queen of death, basically, and Trinity was trying to go after it, and Trinity was very much trying to use it as a weapon to unleash upon the world, and he's trying to stop it. Now, of course, Trinity is the bad guy in the game, and, you know, she's going out there trying to track this whole thing down. But in the game, she's doing this as a college research paper. In the movie, she's doing it to track down her father. And honestly, both storylines work, especially when you start thinking about, like, it's been 7 years. And in the game, like, you know, it's this uninhabitable island, but there's all these structures everywhere. And you're wondering, like, how did they build these particular structures? Why are these structures here? What the hell's going on, sort of thing? Because it was in the game also an old World War II outpost. That's how a lot of the structures came to be. But in the movie, they decided to change it with Trinity having been stuck on the island for 7 years, attempting to find Himiko's body in order to unleash what she has and then harness it for Trinity to use in their particular purposes, which, as we get a little bit of detail about them, that their whole organization collects these kind of occult artifacts, spiritual, magical items, as a way to basically kind of, I would argue, you know, get some world domination going on there. And again, it's pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. That's, you know, like, that's cool. I enjoyed that aspect of it. So, you know, her and one other guy, not a whole team of people, but one other guy, end up going out to the island, crashing, get captured by everybody. Which then you find out that what's going on is, like, I kept wondering, how are they getting all these workers here? Like, how would they get all this stuff done? And basically, Trinity will pay, like, you know, coyotes to, like, smuggle people out there. So they think that they're getting taken from their small village in China, and they're going to go to, like, the mainland. They're going to go to America. They're going to go someplace where they can be free. And then they're like, doop, 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 doop. There you go. Enjoy indentured servitude. And I thought that was a cool little aspect of it. It was crashed fishing vessels. It was all these slaves, and it was an interesting idea. And they'd been there for 7 years attempting to dig out and blow up and destroy this island to find Himiko's lair. And Lara basically has the key. and ultimately brings the key to them in the form of her father's diary. Now, the movie shares a lot of themes and elements similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Last Crusade. And I'm fine with that, actually. I actually really kind of enjoyed that, because as we discover, her father's alive, which I did not see that coming. And at first I kind of groaned because I'm all like, oh, there's her dad. Oh, it's not a ghost. Oh, he's real. Oh, what the hell is going on here? Like, okay, like he's been surviving on the island for 7 years, but he's been messing with Trinity the whole time, keeping them from finding the artifact, and making sure they were looking in the wrong place. And then Lara shows up and accidentally gives them the diary that basically sends them to the right location. So then him and Lara decide to basically, or she decides that she's going to go free the slaves and try to take them out, which case they get caught and the slaves get away, but they still discover the tomb and they go into the tomb. And it really does at this point go into some serious Last Crusade with the trials, where it's like, there's the falling bridge, the kneel before God part. They have to pray and kneel to get through this particular one thing. It's a whole other color code puzzle and stuff, and it does feel like the game. And then they get to Himiko. Now in the game, Himiko really is a spiritual demon. Like, she is evil incarnate, and she is legitimately like guarded by these samurai that have been there for like 1,000 years or something. Here she's not. Here they removed the spiritual side of it, and they kept with it just being she was immune to a very, very, very deadly plague, which I thought was actually really cool. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So they removed the spiritual side of it. And even though that was the myth, here's what she really was. It was just this really nasty virus. Quick acting, right? Total fast acting to acting on this one. One guy ends up getting it, kills him in like 2 seconds. The next dude ends up getting, one other guy ends up getting infected. I don't quite know how he got infected, because he wasn't infected yet. But then he infects her dad, and then her dad sacrifices himself in order to keep, to destroy Himiko and make sure no one can get it again. And then Lara goes and fights Walton Goggins and ends up killing him, and then she gets out of there, so on and so forth. I mean, it's a very standard by the numbers action film, but it's a solid action film. A lot of people have been criticizing Alicia Vikander and the lack of her chesticles, and that not being in part with the character. But then again, in the reboot 2013, Lara's like 18. She has a bit more curvier, but nowhere near as voluptuous as she was in the original game or Angelina Jolie's portrayal of her in 2001 and 2003. So I felt like she was a good representation of this. She was a naive young woman trying to find her place, trying to have closure over the death of her father. And then at the end, then she discovers basically that the woman who was looking after her for all those years, the one who her father trusted to be kind of her guardian, ultimately is the woman who runs Trinity. And then that sets Lara up on the path to go and stop them. And that's setting up the sequels, maybe Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then ultimately The Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is what we just got announced right before the release of the film. Good stuff in the movie is Nick Frost has a couple cameo appearances. He was fantastic. The other guy who's on the boat, whose name, Lou Ren, I think his name is right now, he was good. Not a lot of character development with him, a little bit with him, but like I like the chemistry, and I hope he appears in the sequels if they make it. I really liked Alicia Vikander in the role, loved Walton Goggins in the role. Then again, I love Walton Goggins in quite literally anything he does. Unfortunately, he won't be back for the sequel. That's unfortunate, because I was actually watching the movie like, yeah, come on, let him live. I know he's gonna probably die, but let him live. Have him come back in the sequel. Have him come back. And it was a good by the numbers adaptation. Now, people out there have suggested, oh, does this break the video game curse? Does this break the adaptation curse? And the answer to that is probably not. In some people's eyes, it's not. But just in terms of telling a story based on this character, they did a good job. And unfortunately, it got kind of swallowed by Black Panther. But I have a feeling that Tomb Raider is going to do well with a couple different audiences. I think gamers ultimately are going to like it, and because they also enjoyed the game. And the marketing of the movie really highlighted parts of the game that they were trying to showcase on the adaptation, like when she in the game falls and has the parachute and goes through the trees, like that's in it. But it wasn't overtly torturous on Lara's part. Like there was, not a lot there. It wasn't like the game where there's like press B to avoid rape sort of thing. That whole controversy from 2012 didn't pop up in this one, and that's good. But they never really played at her sexuality. That wasn't even a thing at all. She was a capable, confident young woman who was out there trying to save her father and ultimately save humanity. And I feel that was a very good representation of who Lara Croft was. And again, I would really love to see more from this franchise. I would love to see a sequel. I'd love to see multiple sequels. I do hope that that it makes enough money and that they are willing to go and try it. I think given the numbers from the opening weekend, and I think given the general positive reviews that the movie has received, it should be able to do that, and hopefully we will be able to see that sometime sooner, get that announcement sometime before the end of the year. But I'll definitely be picking this one up when it comes out. I know my girlfriend really wants to watch it, and because she's a fan of the game too and like the other movies, so there's definitely that. And I think if you are a fan of the game, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Don't listen to a lot of people that are just going to be like, oh, it's a game adaptation. Go and give it a shot and see if you like it, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But anyway, what do you guys think about this if you did see it? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.